Hello, and welcome to the Designing with Love podcast. I am your host, Jackie Pellegrin, where my goal is to bring you information, tips, and tricks as an instructional designer. Hello, GCU students and alumni. Welcome to episode 29 of the Designing with Love podcast. In this episode, I will provide an overview of Bloom's Taxonomy and why it is an important tool for instructional designers to utilize when creating learning objectives, assessments, and activities. In addition, I will outline some practical applications of using Bloom's Taxonomy in instructional design. First, before I provide an overview of Bloom's Taxonomy, it is important to learn about who developed this model and why. Bloom's Taxonomy was developed by Benjamin Bloom, an American educational psychologist best known for his work with developing the taxonomy of educational objectives. He developed the framework in 1956 with three distinct domains: cognitive, affective, and psychomotor. Benjamin Bloom also contributed significantly to educational measurement and helped improve how learning is assessed. He also played a role in the development of standardized testing and educational evaluation methods. Lastly, he edited the foundational book titled Taxonomy of Educational Objectives, a classification of educational goals. Due to his work, he helped influence curriculum development, teaching strategies, and assessments worldwide. One of the main reasons Benjamin Bloom developed Bloom's Taxonomy is because he was a proponent of the idea that all students can learn, given the right conditions and enough time. He introduced the concept of mastery learning, where instruction is tailored so that students master one topic before moving on to the next. The original purpose of Bloom's Taxonomy was to create a common language for educators to discuss and design curriculum, instruction, and assessments more effectively. Bloom's Taxonomy was developed to help educators in the following ways. Number 1, clarify learning objectives. Number 2, promote higher order thinking. Number 3, design balanced assessments. And finally, number 4, support curriculum development. In short, Bloom's Taxonomy was created to make learning objectives clearer, teaching more intentional, and assessments more aligned and fairer for learners. All right, so now that you have a good understanding of who developed Bloom's Taxonomy and why, I will provide a general overview by explaining the three domains and a breakdown of the most common domain used in instructional design today. The cognitive domain is the most well-known and widely used domain among educators. It focuses on intellectual skills and knowledge. The original 6 levels that were developed in 1956 are as follows: knowledge, comprehension, application, analysis, synthesis, and evaluation. The affective domain relates to attitudes, emotions, values, and motivation, which is how learners engage emotionally with the material. The 5 levels of this domain are as follows: receiving, responding, valuing, organizing, and characterizing. Finally, the psychomotor domain involves physical movement, coordination, and the use of motor skills. Although Benjamin Bloom didn't fully develop this domain, other individuals expanded on it later. The 7 commonly used levels in this domain are as follows: perception, set, guided response, mechanism, complex overt response, adaptation, and origination. In a nutshell, here is an easy way to remember the 3 different domains. Cognitive equals the head, which is thinking and knowledge. Affective equals the heart, which is attitudes and feelings. Psychomotor equals hands, which is skills and actions. So you have head, heart, and hands all together. Now that you have a good understanding of the 3 domains, I will briefly explain why the cognitive domain is the most commonly used in instructional design today. Number 1, it aligns closely with most educational goals. Most formal learning, especially in schools, universities, and corporate training, focuses on knowledge, acquisition, problem-solving, and critical thinking. In turn, these are exactly what the cognitive domain addresses, which are learning facts and concepts, applying skills to new situations, and analyzing and solving problems. Number 2, It's easier to define, measure, and assess. Cognitive objectives are specific, observable, and measurable. This makes them perfect for the following: designing clear learning outcomes, creating objectives, assessments like quizzes, case studies, or projects, and evaluating learner performance. Number 3, it matches instructional design frameworks. Popular models like ADDIE, Backward Design, and Merrill's First Principles of Instruction emphasize setting learning objectives and aligning them with assessments and instructional strategies. Most often, these objectives fall into the cognitive domain. Number 4, it supports skill development in most professional settings. In business and corporate training, there's often a strong emphasis on critical thinking, problem solving, and decision making, which rely heavily on cognitive processes. And finally, number 5, it provides a scaffold for higher order thinking. Bloom's taxonomy encourages moving from basic knowledge, known as lower order thinking skills, to higher order thinking skills such as analysis and creation, which is ideal for building deep learning experiences and scaffolded instruction. Next, I will provide a simple breakdown of the 6 levels of the cognitive domain. Please keep in mind this breakdown is of the original taxonomy. Later in this episode, I will provide a comparison of the original and revised taxonomy. Number 1 is knowledge. This is about remembering facts and recalling information you have learned. Some example verbs are list, define, name, and identify. Number 2 is comprehension. This refers to understanding meaning and grasping what the information means. Some example verbs are summarize, explain, and describe. Number 3 is application. This is about using knowledge in new ways by applying what you know to solve problems or complex tasks. Some example verbs are solve, use, and demonstrate. Number 4 is analysis. This refers to breaking things down and seeing how parts relate, or identifying causes and effects. Some example verbs are compare, contrast, examine, and differentiate. Number 5 is synthesis. This is about creating something new, which means combining ideas to form a new whole. Some example verbs are design, create, plan, and formulate. And finally, number 6 is evaluation. This refers to judging and deciding, which means making judgments based on criteria or evidence. Some example verbs are judge, critique, justify, and assess. Now that you have a good overview of the 6 levels of the cognitive domain, I will provide some practical applications of how you can use the cognitive domain of Bloom's taxonomy in your work as an instructional designer. First, it is important to understand how you can use the cognitive domain to create learning objectives as a future instructional designer. You can utilize the taxonomy as a blueprint to create clear, measurable, and progressive learning objectives that guide the course content, activities, and assessments for your learners. I will briefly cover the key steps you can take, which are inspired by ChatGPT. Step 1. Identify the desired level of thinking. In this first step, you want to choose which cognitive level best fits what you want the learners to achieve. Step 2. Use action verbs. During step 2, you want to choose a verb from the cognitive level that clearly indicates what the learner will do. Make sure to avoid vague verbs like understand or learn by themselves. And finally, step 3, write SMART objectives. In the third step, you want to make SMART objectives, which are specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound if needed. Now that you know the 3 key steps, I want to share a pro tip with you. Make sure to use Bloom's taxonomy as a scaffold by starting low for beginners, such as remember or understand, and then build higher for advanced learners, such as analyze or create. This helps to ensure progressive learning and keeps the challenge appropriate. Next, I will take a few minutes to provide you with an example of a learning objective for each level so you can see the progression. These learning objectives were also inspired by ChatGPT. For knowledge, an example is list the 7 continents on a world map. For comprehension, an example is explain the water cycle using your own words. For application, an example is apply Newton's laws to predict the motion of an object in a real-world scenario. For analysis, an example is differentiate between formative and summative assessments in terms of purpose and timing. For synthesis, an example is design a marketing plan for a new product using current consumer behavior trends. And finally, for evaluation, an example is evaluate the effectiveness of 2 leadership styles in managing remote teams. Now I will cover how Bloom's taxonomy guides assessments and learning activities. Instructional designers and educators can use the taxonomy to align learning objectives, activities, and assessments by organizing cognitive skills from basic to advanced. This ensures that what is being taught and how it is being measured matches the intended depth of learning. Basically, the taxonomy acts like a map for instructional alignment, which helps you design what learners do, how they do it, and how you know they've done it well. Finally, I will take a few minutes to describe the revised Bloom taxonomy by reviewing the changes that were made, how it compares to the original version, and how you can use the revised taxonomy. The revised Bloom taxonomy, which was introduced in 2001 by Lauren Anderson and David Krethval, was completed to reflect a more modern understanding of learning and cognition. To fully understand how to use the revised taxonomy, it's important for you to understand the changes that were made. I will take a few minutes to provide a comparison of the original and revised taxonomies. First, the category names changed from nouns to verbs. The original taxonomy used noun forms such as knowledge and comprehension, while the revised version uses verb forms to better reflect active learning and performance. Here's a quick breakdown of the original and revised categories. Knowledge changed to remember, comprehension changed to understand, application changed to apply, analysis changed to analyzed, synthesis changed to create, and finally, evaluation changed to evaluate. Secondly, the last 2 levels swapped in order. In the original, evaluation was the highest level. In the revised version, create is now at the top, representing the most complex thinking. Finally, the revised version added a 2D framework, which consists of the cognitive process dimension, known as the 6 thinking levels, and the knowledge dimension, which is the 6 types of knowledge being used. The knowledge dimension can be broken down into the 4 areas as follows. Number 1, factual knowledge, which is basic terms and facts. Number 2, conceptual knowledge, which is principles, models, and theories. Number 3, procedural knowledge, which is how to do something. And number 4, metacognitive knowledge, which is awareness of one's thinking and learning strategies. While it is important to know about the changes, why do they matter? Number 1, it encourages active verbs for clear learning objectives. Number 2, it recognizes creativity as the pinnacle of learning and thinking. And number 3, it helps instructional designers and educators better align objectives, instruction, and assessment. So, now that you have a solid understanding of the differences between the original and revised taxonomies, I will take this opportunity to explain some practical ways you can use the revised taxonomy in instructional design today. Think of the revised taxonomy like a Swiss Army knife for modern instructional design. First, you want to write clear, action-oriented learning objectives. Use the 6 cognitive process levels with strong action verbs to write objectives that are specific and measurable, aligned with learning outcomes, and are easy to track and assess. For example, instead of an objective that states, learners will understand customer service, use, learners will evaluate customer service scenarios to identify effective communication strategies. Number 2, align activities with objectives. Use the taxonomy to match learning activities to the correct level of learning required. I will provide some example activities that you can align with each level. For remember, you can use flashcards and quizzes. For understand, you can use explainer videos and summaries. For apply, you can use role play and simulation. For analyze, you can use case studies and troubleshooting. For evaluate, you can create debates and peer reviews. And then finally, for the create level, you can design a product and write a proposal. Third, it designs better assessments. Make sure the assessments test the same level of cognition as the objectives. Therefore, if your goal is to analyze, don't give a quiz that only tests recall. Also, if your goal is to create, consider a project or a design task. This helps to avoid the teaching one thing, testing another trap. Number 4, sequence learning for skill building. Use the levels to scaffold instruction, starting from simple and building up. Some examples of this can include the following, which are helpful in curriculum design or multi-mode learning. First, remember concepts such as terminology or formulas. Then, understand them, such as explain in the learner's own words. Finally, apply and analyze, such as solving real problems or evaluating solutions. Number 5, map objectives to knowledge types. Use the knowledge dimension to target the right type of knowledge for the goal. Some examples of this can include the following, which add depth and precision to your project plans. Procedural knowledge plus apply equals use software to generate reports. Conceptual knowledge plus analyze equals compare learning theories. And finally, a bonus. Use it for learner self-assessment. Learners can reflect using the taxonomy verbs in the following ways. Can I explain this concept? Can I apply this to my job? And finally, can I create something new using this idea? I hope you have found this information about Bloom's taxonomy and how it is an important tool helpful as you learn about the different models and theories that can be used in instructional design. As you incorporate Bloom's taxonomy into your instructional design projects, it may be helpful to have some resources you can refer to along the way. Please check out the show notes for some helpful resources, including a Bloom's taxonomy diagram. As a recap, we covered the importance and application of Bloom's taxonomy and how it can be used in modern instructional design today. In the future, I would encourage you to utilize Bloom's taxonomy in your projects when you are creating learning objectives, assessments, and activities. Before I close out this episode, I would like to share an inspiring quote by Benjamin Bloom. "The flowers that bloom tomorrow are the seeds you planted today." Thank you for taking some time to listen to this podcast episode today. Your support means the world to me. If you'd like to help keep the podcast going, you can share it with a friend or colleague, leave a heartfelt review, or offer a monetary contribution. Every act of support, big or small, makes a difference, and I'm truly thankful for you.